Hey everyone, and welcome back to Voices of Vicenza. Cayman and Randy here.
Hey, voices, voices, voices. Glad to have you here.
Thank you. I expect no less.
So, yes, we have a lot of different voices on from the community to help us know what's going on in the community, be informed, and sometimes have fun stuff. This topic's a little more serious. We have a special guest in the studio with us today. Can you tell us who you are, special guest?
Yeah, hi, this is Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Kuhn. I am the Garrison Provost Marshal and Director of Emergency Services.
Some people asked online, what is a provost marshal? What is that?
So the Provost Marshal, think like Chief of Police, basically. So senior law enforcement officer for the installation. So all the military police you see around installation kind of report to me, and then we work hand in hand with the carbon area on post.
Okay. So as far as DES, you said, who's your favorite, fire or law enforcement?
That's a loaded question.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
it's
I love
tough.
doing that.
So I apologize to any firefighters listening, but my heart is with the law enforcement side. So I'm a military policeman by trade.
Yeah.
I've been a cop, so to speak, for 18 years. So
Cool.
that's where my heart's at.
But recently, our own fire department was recognized for something.
Yeah, absolutely. So we were just recognized by IMCOM Europe as the fire department of the year.
Yeah.
It's a great achievement. A lot
That's
of
amazing.
hard work.
Hey, a little slow on the clapping there, audience. Why weren't you clapping sooner? That was really good news, right? So anyway, no, we're glad to hear that. We know you have a big, good team of professionals. We're glad to be part of that. So one of the reasons you're here today is to get us scared straight. Is that the right terminology? It's like an old program to
That's mildly aggressive, wouldn't you say?
scare people to do the right thing, But no, some of these numbers are kind of scary. But you have it's to get us to do the things that make us not have to pay these. Hopefully, get these big numbers, these big bills, right? These big tickets. So one of them is 46,000 euro in penalties for Americans. Is that right?
Yeah. So we're going to talk today a little bit about tickets,
Yeah.
traffic tickets, everyone's favorite topic, and yeah, that number 46,000 euro. That's the number of total fines assessed to USAG Italy community members just last year alone.
Yeah.
For off-post violations.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. Cayman, are you contributing any of that money by any chance?
Well, 2025, no.
Okay.
I have had some experience, so there are different types of tickets, obviously, and I have had some experiences with the ZTL.
ZTL. What's that stand for, Colonel Kuhn?
That would be the Zona Traffico Limitado, or the limited traffic zone.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's where you don't drive in certain city centers at certain roads, and they have generally signs and or lights or labels, and you get big tickets for those things. Yeah.
Yep, you get a ticket going in and a ticket going out.
Yes.
Usually.
So how much was yours for? Did you have just one of them, Cayman?
I had a few.
A
So
few. Okay. Did you
so-
live downtown?
I did. So this is actually why it's kind of important to talk about, especially for new community members, because you don't know what you don't know, right? So yeah, we got an apartment that was right outside of the ZTL. And when we were touring the apartment, obviously we had a realtor. So we were in the car with her and she kind of went the route that she decided to go. And so once we moved in, I was like, all right, I'm going to go that same route. Well, little did I know there's about 100 meters of ZTL that I was driving through for probably about 2 months before I got the first notification. Yeah, so 2 months driving back and forth every day through the ZTL. And yeah, that was a hard lesson to learn, but this is why it's important to discuss.
How much
here.
was that for you, by the way? Do you remember the?
No, I repressed that memory, Randy.
It was enough to have to sell your car and start walking.
It was a bit, that's for sure.
Okay. No, I've heard that before, actually, but I know, I think from your statistics you gave us, Colonel Kuhn, is that these are most of the fines for ZTL stuff are not from people living there, right? This is from like people not living there.
Right, absolutely. So every now and then, situations occur where an individual that lives just outside the ZTL, like you mentioned, will accidentally pass through it, or sometimes even ZTL residents, if their registration with the city expires, they could potentially get a ticket unknowingly because they got to update that annual registration with the city. But the overwhelming majority is residents living on post or in the community that just are going downtown for dinner and aren't aware they're entering a ZTL.
And is this if you know, is this a myth or true that for at least the Americans, they have a certain entry and exit to use, right, to make sure that.
Yes. So based on the location of your house within the ZTL, you're
Mhm.
designated basically the most efficient route to get in and out of the ZTL. So
Yeah,
the goal is to minimize traffic through the ZTL, right? So if you
yeah,
live on the western edge, for instance, you'll have a designated entry point on the western side that gets you close to your house.
right. Yeah, we actually have something on the Garrison Outlook, army.mil/Italy, explaining a lot of the ZTL stuff, kind of why it exists and how it can, how to pay attention to it. I even went to Brescia recently and they had a nice lit up sign saying ZTL flashing. So that was pretty handy. I think it's more noticeable here in Vicenza. They're a little less readable. They're more static signs. They're not a flashing light or flashing LED anything, right? It's just
Right.
signs
Yeah.
here.
Some of them can be a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
They are all labeled, and they
Yeah.
all, they meet the codes and the requirements to be labeled.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're, you're looking at your GPS or you're distracted, it's very easy to pass by.
And GPS can take you through there sometimes, and so
Absolutely.
don't trust the GPS
Correct.
to save you money. It doesn't necessarily know where they are or know that you don't have access or something like that. Yeah.
So let's talk logistics for a second for those who don't know. When you get a ticket on the economy, whether it's a ZTL ticket or a speeding ticket, what is the reporting look like and how am I notified?
Okay. So there's a lot that happens, I guess, behind the scenes, so to speak, before it makes it to the community member.
Okay.
So, uh, as you may or may not know, so as you register your vehicle here in Italy, you get an AFI plate that's specific to Americans living in Italy, and so the Italian system doesn't have access to those plates. So when you trigger a camera or you get a citation, initially the police don't know what to do with it, who that belongs to. So
Right.
there's a long process before we at DES are even notified, where they try and figure out who these individuals are, put a plate to a name.
Mhm.
Much simpler for the Italian license plate.
Right.
So that process can take up to a couple months, unfortunately, before they get it over to DES. And at that point, then we look through our databases, we figure out who the individual is, the unit they're assigned to, and then we make notifications. So if it's a spouse driving, for instance, all vehicles are registered to the sponsor. So
Mhm.
we notify the sponsor chain of command, and then which point you're requested a summons to the Policia Locale
Mhm.
substation right behind the PMO,
Mhm.
and then they'll provide you all the details on the ticket.
Mhm.
So when we receive it, we don't even know, what the ticket is, when you received it, how much it is, any of that information. We get to ask that a lot, but yeah, we would just request you to come on down to the station, meet with the local police, and
Mhm.
then take care of it.
How is it that you're requested again? Like, is in your CMR box or?
So we do summons by email.
Okay.
So we find the individual on Global. We do an email notification. After a little while, we'll kind of elevate that to the next supervisor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you're sending me any of mine, make sure you put it to Randy Jackson, because Randall, that's not me. I don't
We
want
don't
any of
know who
those
Randall
that guy's
is.
tickets. Yeah, he's crazy guy. Watch out for him. So anyway, no, that's my official name, Randall. So yeah, just
Yeah, I know.
yeah. Anyway, so what happens if people get multiple, violations, for example?
Yeah. So the easy and automatic answer is they just stack up, right? So you'll keep getting tickets. The fines can increase depending on which violations they are. If there's the same repeat violations, the amount can go up,
Mm-hmm.
and then potentially they can result in license suspensions, depending on the type of infraction and the quantity. Could result in a suspension of not only your CTAF license but also your U.S. driver's license can be taken from you by the local police.
Yeah, it's some serious stuff. It's not the funnest topic we've talked about on the podcast, but if you get it wrong, it's can make your life difficult.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean it's nice to inform the community because not everybody is aware, and it can be a little bit daunting, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I think I was reading that bus and taxis are like using their lanes as an issue too.
Yeah, so of all the tickets received last year, which was almost 3,000 by the end of the year,
Hmm.
2/3 or so of that was ZTL. But yes, the next biggest is the use of bus and taxi lanes,
Hmm.
or limited traffic lanes. So mostly downtown, but throughout the community, every now and then you'll see a designated lane, and again, clearly marked on the pavement with a bus/taxi.
Right.
And so those lanes are reserved for public transportation. The goal, again, to keep the buses and taxis flowing.
Yeah.
And POVs are not authorized in those at any time of day.
One of the more common places where people would see that is going to the train station, right? You know,
Yep.
the right lane is actually buses and taxis, and the left is for cars. And you'll see, you know, we watched people do it the other day, you know, and I had my camera out, and it looked like I was catching this guy, but I was just trying to make a video to highlight this issue in the first place. But yeah, people do it. They don't know, but do your best to find out and pay attention to the signs out there.
Yep, it's not a suggestion.
Yeah, definitely stay alert while you're driving. I mean, you should always do that anyway, but here specifically, if you're not familiar with the signage and limitations, just keep your eyes open when you're on the road.
So you mentioned that, like, you know, more than 2/3 of the tickets of, you know, in the past year were ZTL. I like that your other stat with you know, like for speeding, right? So that's a pretty good number.
Yeah. So definitely obey the posted speed limit wherever you travel, but there's a surprisingly low percentage of the citations were as a direct result of speeding.
Yeah.
I
So
was also surprised by that number.
yeah. So I mean, it gives me hope, optimism for the, you know, people are obeying the rules, maybe, you know, like, or they're doing it somewhere
Less
that
people are driving, question mark.
or they're doing it somewhere else, I guess, you know. I had a friend once. His name rhymed with Andy Jackson, and he was in Germany on the autobahn, and he was already driving very fast. I think he saw the speed limit. It said it was 100 miles an hour, so he was going 100 miles an hour, and the Polizei, the German police, entered the autobahn, and he's like, "Huh? Should I keep going 100 miles per hour? You know, and pass the police? Is that okay? I wonder, because it says I can go 100 miles an hour." And he did. He passed them, and everything was fine. So,
Oh,
have you heard of that before? I don't know.
that's a great story.
Yeah. So passing the police in America, we
Yeah.
normally wouldn't do that, right? It feels weird. You're like, oh, you always slow down. You know, you don't want to.
Right. If
know.
conditions permit and weather is clear, absolutely travel up to and including the speed limit. You'll be fine.
Yes. No, it was actually legal. You know, this guy Andy Jackson, he told me that it was totally fine. You know, that actually was the speed limit at the time. He did not go over it. He obeyed the rules, believe it or not. And yeah,
Good.
just
Sounds like a great guy.
the police were just another car on the road at that time. They didn't mean anything different to the law. So
Yeah, well, police are less apt to actually pull you over here
Yeah.
than in the States.
yeah,
You're not getting pulled over usually for a speeding violation.
yeah.
correct?
I,
Yeah.
I want to talk about Fiat Pandas, but this is probably not the best time to talk about Fiat Pandas. So those are not fast cars anyway, right? You know what I'm saying. So what are some things that are other off-post type things, though, right? Like if you get one of these tickets, speeding ticket, for example, if you pay it quickly versus some people wait years, sometimes they don't check for a while. People should probably check if they have tickets occasionally.
Yeah.
Them quickly.
Yeah, definitely. They can add up quickly, and like we said, there's already a delay in before it comes to us. So you know, if you're ever curious, if you've got a ticket, I mean, contact the military police desk. Contact the PMO. We can let you know. You can also stop into the local police substation right behind the PMO,
Mm-hmm.
and just have them run your names. Hey, I'm just curious. I want to know if I have any tickets. And if your ticket has been, you know, processed and received by them, they'll let you know how many you've got, how much they are, and it let you pay them on the spot if you're ready.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, like you said, if you pay them right away within the 5 days, so either on the spot or within 5 days, there's quite a significant discount in the total fine.
Yeah, I like discounts. It's weird to talk about discounts and speeding tickets or other tickets, whatever. But you know, yeah, discounts are good.
Okay, so let's shift over from the economy to on post because obviously we have a very dedicated unit of MPs here, and part of their job is obviously enforcing laws, regulation, and policy on post. So, what does the process look like? I know we discussed parking. Generally speaking, on this installation, it's tight, and there are certain reserved spots like handicap, drop off only. Do the MPs enforce the parking, and how can the community better alleviate that?
Yeah. So this is a fun topic as well. So I would say no military installation out there has perfect parking, right?
Right, exactly.
Due to a number of reasons, there's just not as much as everyone would like, right? So parking's always a premium. and those free spots, those undesignated ones, are always always prime, right? So, yes, military police are out there enforcing designated parking areas. This is a particular issue on Del Den. Del Den was designed as a pedestrian campus, right? So
Mhm.
the only true authorized parking is in those garages, and we try to enforce that as best we can, right? But really, our biggest concerns are, like you mentioned, with handicap parking, Gold Star reserve parking,
Right.
and then anything that's interfering with the flow of traffic, right? So on curves or potentially double parking or parking on both sides of the roads, those things present safety issues, right? To our emergency vehicles or to the
Mhm.
safe flow of traffic. So that's really where we're focusing. There's other areas obviously where parking's a problem. You could still get a ticket in those locations, but again, we try and keep things safe
Yep,
and
of
trafficable on
course.
post.
And if I'm a soldier and maybe I'm going to the field going TDY and I need to park my car somewhere on post, are there reserved lots?
There are. So if it's a routine TDY or mission, like you mentioned, come to the PMO. We'll give you a little pass. There's a lot on the southeast side of Ederly where you can park. There's also designated parking on the top floor of the garages in Del Den. And if it's medical TDY, the hospital has some reserved parking as well. So yeah, if you plan on being gone for an extended period of time, please contact us. We'll let you know the closest location, most convenient, and then how you can get that pass.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So what I'm hearing is go to the PMO if you have
Go to the
any
PMO.
questions.
Any questions on parking tickets, anything?
Y'all
Come see
don't
us.
bite. It's
Yeah.
totally okay
Not at
to
all.
go and ask some
I,
questions.
I have a question. So this guy, another guy I know, is Andy Johnson. He told me that he was curious about if there was anything such a thing here on post as citizen's arrest.
Well, that's an interesting question.
He's a grumpy old man, and sometimes he sees what he thinks are people not obeying the rules exactly, and he's like, maybe I can help the MPs. Let me take it into my own hands here and do that.
A friendly reminder from a local, a fellow community member is always welcome. If you see something not right or somebody's parking somewhere they shouldn't, absolutely. I mean, give a friendly reminder. Say, hey, that's not a designated parking spot, or hey, I don't see a handicap placard. Could you move your vehicle? But no, I wouldn't encourage a citizen's arrest, so to speak.
Okay, all right. Just making sure. I'll tell Andy you said that. So yeah. Now another issue that we have going on in the community, or well, we're talking about safety today and traffic. We have Villaggio, where the schools are located, right?
Yeah.
So what are some of the things going on with Villaggio and the students and that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So again, the traffic pattern on Villaggio can be problematic sometimes, and the construction over there has kind of compounded the issues, right? So there's postage signage, there's some cones and some barriers. We just ask again if there's a sign telling you not to do something, please don't do that, right? And this is really in the interest of the safety of our kids and our community. So there's a few problem areas, and I think we're going to actually go out on location and film some stuff to show the community. But the big one, the big two, I would say, is the drop off area. So along the northern edge of the POV lot, there is a designated drop off area. So I know parents getting in quickly, try to get their kids off as quickly as possible, will sometimes park before that area, right? Then they'll block the flow of traffic, or even park in the crosswalk to unload their kids. We just ask, hey, just pull forward and stop temporarily in that unloading zone. And the other one's the exit of the CDC parking lot. So right now with the traffic pattern during construction, you can't turn left out of the CDC to exit Villaggio. You got to go straight across and loop around.
Okay.
There's signage out there, there's some cones, but we see it every so often. We just ask to, again, just obey the rules of the road.
Yeah. Have there been any accidents or anything, with that stuff?
We've been very fortunate. In the last couple of years, there has not been a significant accident or any pedestrian struck by cars.
Okay. Well, let's keep that going. Unfortunately, though, there was a sad, a couple events of people, and they weren't students at the time, but they were soldiers that were crossing the railroad tracks that lost their lives. One of them happened when I was here before in 2006, and then the other was in 2017. So it can be deadly not obeying the rules, So I do believe in safety and living and not dying, So I do follow the rules, just at least for that reason,
Yeah, absolutely. The trains here, you might think it's a non-running track, but yeah, if there's train tracks, stay away from them. European trains are pretty quiet and they're pretty fast. So
Yeah.
yeah, stay away from the tracks.
Yeah. Wow.
And if you're gonna cross, look left, look right, look left again.
Yeah,
Always be
exactly.
vigilant.
Whatever country you're in, whether it's England and right, right, or here, left, right, left.
Look both ways twice, right?
So yeah, well, a lot of, I guess I mentioned earlier, that a lot of information about ZTL, which is like the bulk of people's violations, is on the Garrison Outlook at army.mil/Italy. And any other questions, please write us on Facebook or Instagram. People can let us know if they have any other questions or ideas. Stop by PMO,
PMO, yeah.
to see your more informed MPs. Our social medias. You might get some community answers from people, but you guys will give the actual
Go straight to the source for the most accurate
Absolutely.
information, right?
Yeah. So hey, thanks a lot for coming on today. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a safe rest of your day, and safe, the community stays safe out there, and maybe we can reduce tickets for people this year, save them a little money, would be nice.
Hopefully. Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. Thanks
Thanks
Cayman.
everyone for tuning in to Voices of Vicenza.
Ciao.
Ciao.